going to discuss defense with our coordinator, Jay Bateman. He's also going to look at the 4 linebackers who signed in this 2026 class, a really good haul at that position. But, Coach, thanks for joining us, first of all. Congratulations to you and the Aggies on this class.
Thanks. We're excited about these kids.
Yeah, a lot to be excited about. So just before we get to these linebackers, the defensive overview as a whole, what do you think you added to that room with this 2026 signing class?
Yeah, I think, going in, we knew corner was going to be really important. I think Jordan did a great job with Brandon and Vic, 2 kids with I think are elite players. I think 2 of the better players in the country. Number 1 player in the state of Ohio, number 1 player in the state of California. So I think anytime you get those 2 kids, especially with their measurables, right? 2 really long, fast kids. I think it was good. And then I think the other position we really felt like we needed to really hit was defensive end. And I think Bryce is one of the best players in the country. Tristan is an absolute freak. Could do a lot of things. I think he's perfect for our jack position, that kind of hybrid edge outside backer position. And then Samu was a kid that committed to us a year ago. We were able to hold off some suitors there for a long time. But and then I think the linebackers I think is a really good class. And I think the 2 safeties. The last kid I went and worked out, watched practice. In the spring. Tyler Wilson I think is a dynamite player, and Chance has been a guy we've had our eyes on for a long time. So I think we feel really good about this class.
Yeah, a lot of good additions, and you have 4 of them in that linebacker room that we will go through. And we're going to start in Carthage, Texas. Que Beck, he's on ESPN's top 300 as one of the best players in the entire country, and he's had over 300 tackles the last 3 seasons. Coach, your thoughts on Que?
Yeah, one of the better players in the state of Texas on defense this class. I think Carthage, a really good program. Him and KJ, we felt like was really 2 of the better players. Kind of a package deal there, and I think going to be a really good player for the Aggies.
Yeah, you mentioned Carthage, and we talked about it earlier with KJ Edwards because they were teammates, offensive and defensive side of the ball. Proud program. We're updating anyone who's still in the playoffs, and it is the 4A Division II Regional Finals on Friday in Tyler. Carthage, who's 13-0. They will take on Athens as they look for another state title. And one thing about guys that win, that advance in the playoffs is, I don't know how much it means, but is there some attraction to a guy that comes from a program like Carthage, and that he's got a little winning DNA in it?
No, I think a young man that comes from, I got to go up there a couple times and watch him. You see how they practice, you see how they work out in the weight room, you see the attention to detail in the program, and those guys just have a step ahead, and you feel really good. State of Texas, there's a lot of great high school programs, so you feel really good about signing a kid who's had that kind of high school experience when you get him here. You feel like they're a little bit further ahead than maybe some other kids.
Mm-hmm. So good luck to Que, good luck to KJ as they continue on
for sure
in the Texas high school playoffs. I tell you who's else still in the Texas high school playoffs with Port Arthur Memorial. It's Tank King. One of the things I noticed when we were looking up Tank, 456 career tackles, which set the school record there at Port Arthur Memorial, and I had to look back at it. I thought maybe 456 career tackles was borderline a misprint. That's like Dat Win stuff here at Texas A&M.
Yeah. So if he turns it like Dat Win, we'll be pretty happy. But look, I think Tank's a kid we've had our eyes on ever since we got here. I think he's had a dynamite senior year. You watch his senior film, you'll see a hit right here, and you see he plays all over. He does a lot, which I think is important. There's a physical nature of him. He's an explosive, and just from the day I met him, I just felt so strongly about him and his family. As a kid that we needed in our program, and Port Arthur's obviously had a lot of great players. You go in that weight room. There's a list of all these NFL players, and so. I thought he was one of the best players in the state of Texas on defense in this class, if not the best. And I just think he's adding him to our haul. I think has been really good, and a kid that was recruited really, really hard by the best programs in our country.
Yeah, and Tank and PA Memorial, they are 13-0. They're in the 5A Division I Regional Finals against Barbers Hill on Saturday. That's going to be in Beaumont. You may tune into that.
I will. Yeah. So they beat them earlier in the year. So hopefully no pressure, but Tank's got to get it done again.
That's right. Going to Ohio for your next linebacker, a fantastic player this year, 110 tackles, and 24 of those were for lost yardage. From Strongsville, it is Storm Miller. Your thoughts on Storm?
Yeah, I mean, just a dynamite player. One of the best players in the state of Ohio. A kid who could have gone anywhere. His brother played over 2,000 snaps at Clemson as an offensive tackle, so football runs in the family. As a sophomore, junior, he played on the edge more. You'll see some of his highlights. He's on the edge. They still did him, played him at that position a little bit this year, but kind of knew like size-wise he was going to be an off-the-ball backer. Worked really hard at it, and I just think a really big, fast, athletic kid who loves football. And I think a kid named Storm from Strongsville, Ohio. I think it's hard to pass on those kids, but just a dynamite player, man. I think he's going to come here, and I think he's going to impact our team really quickly.
I thought the same thing. From Strongsville, named Storm, but getting guys from Ohio, some from Jersey, just there's a physical nature that comes from those guys.
Yeah, I think it shows the appeal of playing in this conference, and I think the appeal of Texas A&M. So you're a kid who's being recruited by everybody in the country, and like, why Texas A&M? Well, I think the chance to play in the SEC and go to the school, the power of this place, I think is important. And Storm, I remember when he went to commit, it was kind of like, for real? Like, I mean, it was. A kid could go anywhere, and just like came here and fell in love with the place, and I'm so excited to have him joining us. I think he's going to be dynamite.
All right, one more linebacker to discuss with Coach Bateman, and we're going to Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Northwestern High School to find Tamaran Watkins, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I give Derek Miller a lot of credit. Derek Miller showed me, T. Watt's film, about 16 months ago. And, it was kind of like, is he really 6'4"? You're watching this film, and just a dynamite player. Rock Hill, South Carolina, Football America, all the great players there. Again, another kid, he's playing for a state title this weekend. He won a state title last year. Both his brothers won state titles. So I think just a family of winners, and just a really, really talented kid. And I don't know what all the rankings say, but the best teams in our country were still recruiting him up until last night. So I think just a kid who's got just oozes ability. I love him as a kid. I think, one thing I learned a long time ago, right, if you really love them and you really feel strong about a kid and he feels strong about you, he's usually going to work out pretty good. And we target him early. He's a very different player. Plays safety a lot in high school. He's a 6'4", 205, 210-pound long, going to be really big, who can play in space. And I couldn't be more excited. I think dynamite family, awesome mom and dad, and just an awesome kid.
Yeah, you talked about it. He does play for a state title in South Carolina on Friday. And you mentioned play some safety. Just when you think of guys that you want to come, be in your room, play on this defense, play as a linebacker, would active be a good word? I mean, do you want to turn that tape on and see guys just all over the field?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think number one, you don't want them to all be exactly the same. So T. Watt brings a little bit different skill set than maybe Tank does. And so I think we felt like in this class we really wanted to get a kid who could play in space. Do some of the things Noah does, do some of the things Scooby does, and I think T. Watt fits that bill. I think we were looking for that big safety space player, which is what he is. And I just. You watch his film. I mean, he does everything. He's playing in the post. He's playing man to man on a slot. Like, he does all these things, and then he's playing linebacker and just a really unique player. And I think a kid that Mike and I are really excited about. Like how he's going to impact our defense quickly.
And one more thing for you. This is the future that we're talking about right here, but the immediate future for the Aggies, your 2025 group. College football playoff is coming up. You guys will be in it. We'll know the bracket and the announcement, all that on Sunday. But it's a chance to leave the regular season, assess, look at things, and then look forward to the playoff. We've seen your defense play great so many times this year. Just what is your assessment of the Aggies 2025, the defensive side of the ball, as now you hit what you hope is a huge run toward a national title here?
I think we've played with more consistency. I think we've obviously done a really, really nice job on third downs. I think the pass rush has been really consistent. So I think when we're consistent in the run, when we're playing a light box and we're consistent in the run structures, we've been really hard to handle. And I think that's going to have to continue. And I think our young men are really excited. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be awesome to hopefully get a home game at Kyle Field. I think first time ever, that'll be awesome. And so I think we're ready to, we know it's a challenge. We know we've talked about the last game and then these next few games. It's going to be a challenge, and so I think our kids are ready for the challenge.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing these guys join your
For sure.
program as well. But congratulations on the signing class.
Awesome. Thanks. You're excited about these kids.